You cannot have 90% of our educated people who are looking for jobs. They're looking to be employed. Nobody is looking for how to start something. Because when we create jobs, we absorb more of our colleagues. But now all of us are looking for jobs. So who is going to create the job? If you cannot prove buying and selling, don't borrow. So first prove that your business has customers. It is profitable. Then now you go and borrow to scale up. To scale up is why you should borrow. Don't borrow to start. That way it might not be easy.
Government has actually introduced different skilling centers around different sub-regions. It's a move of actually providing skills and of course knowledge to the youth so that they are able to create their own jobs and of course fight poverty. Do you think that move by government will actually help to actually reduce the number of youths who are jobless and also fight poverty?
I think it needed to have been done about 20 years ago. 20 years ago would have put us very far. Many times society does not see your journey at arrival. They only see when you have arrived. People don't pay attention to you when you are beginning. And you don't need to blame the world for not taking concern for how you start. What is important is you who is doing what you're doing, believing in yourself and holding up until you achieve what you are looking at.
In a world full of potential, with the youth today seen as the future of all the generations, but with a number of challenges majorly coming from poverty, nothing seems to have been done. But of course, a number of things have been suggested to actually see that the youth come out of poverty, with a number of challenges from technology, education, and politics, seen as the major causes of poverty that's actually still letting the youth down. With a number of opportunities, but no one to actually give them the ideas on how they can actually overcome poverty. Today, I'm excited to host a businessman within Soroti City, a man who has actually fought for his own space, a man who has actually picked a number of youths who have been jobless and he has actually given them employment, a man who has actually known what it takes to be a successful business person. Today, I will be sharing with George William Okoit, the CEO of Teso Textiles, one of the biggest textile companies that we have within Teso. He will actually be taking us through the different opportunities that are there for the youth and of course how youth can tap into these different opportunities. Mr. George, you're most welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Teso Vibes. Thank you to all your audience within the country and beyond Uganda. I am so thrilled and humbled for this very particular opportunity that you have given me to come once more to share. Of course, I know it is not the first time that we have engaged. It is more than once that you've always looked up to me and said, George, can we share one or two things? And I'm always very available as long as it gives us anything that can possibly empower, inspire, and encourage one or two young people out there to see how to push out and pursue their dreams. I am always very humbled and I'm happy to be here with you.
Yes. Yeah. As a successful businessman within Teso and one who has been recognized in a number of times around the country, you have actually realized and seen that a number of youths are actually still moving around the street, trying to hustle, trying to see how to make a living, but of course poverty still remains the major challenge. What do you think about this? What do you think is the major cause of this?
Yeah, I think the cause of the current trend that we are facing as a generation today is so diverse in a way that we might not be able to trace entirely the biggest contributor to what we are going through today. Because for us to arrive at where we are now, it took time and it took so many things to eventually push us to where we are now. Poverty is an end kind of output of a number of circumstances. Because poverty is a creation. For me, it's a creation created over possibly bad parenting, bad parental planning, and also mismatched opportunities, and then a number of them.
Yes.
Let's leave alone government not being committed, but let's talk about us as a generation, as individuals, or a community to see how to create a solution. So I have seen people discuss poverty as one of the causes of what we are going through.
Yes.
But I rarely see people discuss the cause of poverty. So for me, I think before we discuss poverty being the main contributor to the current unemployment and the challenges young people are facing today, I would think that we need to get back and track first what cost us to be where we are today.
Yes.
Now, I always look at the history of Ateker. Before our main economic investment or engagement was taken away from us, we would not be here today.
Yes.
By history, Ateker of Teso are known to have owned 50% of the whole cattle in the whole of this country that we call Uganda today. We had millions of cows. That's why you realize when you go to Arapai, you get the only biggest meat packers by then in the whole of Uganda, because we had the biggest number of animals. But after the insurgency of 1986 happened, today we are here because our forefathers did not know how to come out of the situation that they were pushed in by the loss of their cattle. Now, it is until our generation that we have begun to realize that besides having the cattle, we can do entrepreneurship. But because our forefathers did not have the knowledge on entrepreneurship, they didn't have a chance to give us this knowledge. So we're actually learning how to survive beyond the cattle economy. So that is also one big contributor to what we are having today. So you realize that people who were there before us, their parents had the cows. So if they were to go to school, their parents had to sell the cow and be able to finance the particular course that they wanted. And in that way, there was no course that was so expensive for an Teso parent, because they had everything it took to raise money, to take you to piloting, to take you to engineering, to take you to anything, law and everything. That's why we have people like Omaria or people like Jalu, because their parents were able to raise this money to finance their education. Today we have parents who have nothing else to dispose apart from land, apart from the one or two animals possibly he has painfully kept for 2-3 years. So at the end of the day, they actually don't have anything to offer. So we end up pursuing courses that are affordable based on what is available at the homestead, because one home can have like 5 children or 10, and the old man has maybe 2 or 3 acres. The output of the agricultural input they have put there is not even enough to buy requirements for the child. So the parent is left with nothing but to sell the land to see how to finance the education of a child. Unfortunately, we go for courses that everybody is going for. So when we come out, we are so many to be absorbed. Today we realize that we have more young people loitering. They are qualified, but they have nothing to do because all the opportunities are occupied, because the opportunities are already small and there are very many people who are coming in for the same job market. So for me, it gives us a very big call, because you see, like now in other places like Western Uganda, they have the money, they are able to take their children to courses that we can't afford. You understand? So of course I see people quarreling, Sorority University can't even admit it. So, but we have parents who are able to pay school fees in Sorority University. Besides that, they can give you a place, yes, but can you be able to sustain a child there for 4-5 years? Because you might sell the land, yes, for the first 2 years. What about the last 2 years, or an upgrade or something like that? So that is where I think we need to start the discussion from. What is causing the poverty before the poverty comes in? We need to understand the root cause of this poverty.
You actually mentioned something about the education system rather. Do you think the kind of education that we are being given or that we are going for is also a major cause according to you? Do you think the education that we are getting is also a cause of poverty?
You see, education has very many benefits. They are broad.
Yes.
Beyond just you getting qualified, it also opens you to a lot of network.
Yes.
You realize that when you go to school, you meet different people from different places. Now, if you are a child who has been brought up in a family that is vibrant, you'll be able to make networks.
Yes.
Now, many times when you go to high school, it is the friendship from high school that always stays than the one of university.
Yes.
Sometimes many of us forget our primary hobbies and primary friends, but it is always very often for you to pick up with your friend that you met in high school.
Yes.
Now, if our families had a way of training their children on networking, I think some of these things would be mitigated, because imagine from your senior 1 up to your senior 4, you have about 1,000 students in that particular school, and you made maybe 200 friends. Even if you don't continue with the education, you have contact with these 200 people who might be placed in different places, and through that, when you begin business, you begin using that network for the benefit of yourself. So education, besides the courses that we do practically in Uganda, it also has its own benefit. And for me, the benefit that I've got from my educational journey is the network that I made from my primary to the different schools I went to in my high school, up to my UCC engagement when I was there. So most of my friends be like, George, I went with you to this school, so I pick up from there, because it is easier for you to discuss an opportunity with someone who knows you already than beginning from someone who does not know you.
Yes.
Yeah. So sometimes it's also hard, of course, to penetrate through your friends if they know you to having been somebody who is not straight. So while you make these friends, make friends with honesty, and then continue building that honesty, it will not fail you. So it gets back to family upbringing. Education without the family's involvement is also useless, because a teacher cannot be responsible of teaching your child the benefit of being honest with friends. Are you seeing that?
Yes, yes.
Honesty is taught at home. Consistency is taught at home. Perseverance is taught at home. Trust is taught at home.
Yes.
All those things are taught at home. Now, if you are a child who does not have all these attributes, it becomes very hard for you to maintain friends when you grow. Even when you join business, it will be very hard for you to maintain customers if you're not honest. Even when you get a job, it will not be good for you anywhere if you don't have these characteristics, because for you to grow to what you need to be, there are things that you need to follow, and those principles are the same all over, in business, in the job market, in the family, anywhere, any space. You need to be honest, you need to be trustworthy, you need to be consistent, your character should be defined. All these things must be known through you, because yes, we can know you as a man, but for us to certainly trust you with anything, your character plays a big role. They say personality opens doors, but character keeps them open. So how you keep the opportunity you get after you've got it is what matters now. That's what is going to keep giving you business. Yeah, giving you opportunities. It is that record I'm going to follow. They can be like, oh, George is a good guy, but immediately that statement comes in, but of course now it limits your progress. But if people know you for being this and you keep that, that means your tomorrow is good. So for me, yes, the education has a limitation, but it also has an advantage. And the advantage for me is the network that you get from your education journey. That's what for me I really appreciate with education. For me, the limitation that I see in our education system as a country is many of our people who come out of school don't have what I call practical knowledge. There is diverse knowledge, the theoretical knowledge that you get from school, but there is this knowledge that I want from a student who comes out of his course, the practical, applicable knowledge. Whereby, if you've gone to Busitema University and you've done veterinary education or something like that, of course it entails how you're going to manage animals, poultry, or anything. But how do you come out of Busitema University with a degree in veterinary and you do not have practical knowledge that can help you begin free extension services in your village? Because if you have the knowledge to treat a cat, you can offer a free cat treatment in your village that is going to give you a testimony from that person who owned the cat. From that gentleman, it spreads to other people in the village. Of course, then you turn your voluntary service into something that you're going to trade. If you have gone for tailoring, besides having a degree in fashion design, do you have the practical knowledge to cut, draft, measure, and all these things and create a cloth from zero? If you don't have, then you didn't go to school. So education should be practical enough for us to be able to see a bigger generational transformative team of young people. We have them, they're educated, yes, but many of them have no creative ideas to begin something from their education. Because you cannot have 90% of our educated people who are looking for jobs. They're looking to be employed. Nobody is looking for how to start something. Because when we create jobs, we absorb more of our colleagues. But now all of us are looking for jobs. So who is going to create the job?
Okay. All right. Just talking about how to start a business.
Yes.
A number of youths who have finished school and those who have actually even failed to get jobs, some of them have tried to start their own businesses, but within maybe a period of 1 year, 2 years, or even in just months, most of them have actually failed. Their businesses have failed. You as a CEO, your journey through that business line took you a number of years for you to reach where you are. Why do you think some of these youths are actually failing to actually progress in their different businesses? And then, what can they do for them to actually progress?
Many times, society does not see your journey at arrival.
Yes.
They only see when you have arrived. People don't pay attention to you when you are beginning.
Yes.
And you don't need to blame the world for not taking concern for how you start.
Yes.
What is important is you who is doing what you're doing, believing in yourself and holding up until you achieve what you are looking at. Now, that back end scene is something that very many young people have refused to accept.
Yes.
There is a saying that says, you cannot make all mistakes, but rather you can learn from other people's mistakes. When you're listening to anybody inspiring you into beginning a journey in life, it is far much better for me to listen to someone who I can see his story, than having people who go and read and come and tell you what they have read. But when you follow somebody who is practicing what they are telling you, it is easier for you to compare notes and see that exactly what the person is telling you is what you should do. Now, I have told people several times that my business journey that you're seeing today began in the year 2003. I was in primary 6 in Mora Boys. That is when I began making stamps, and I began cutting stamps from a rubber slipper. That is when I began training myself on how to cut a stamp. Through cutting stamps, I was doing fine art. I began learning how to make signposts. From signposts, I came to learn how to print t-shirts. From t-shirts, I came in to learn other things. Today, I run a business with all the mistakes and all the lessons that I learned from 2003. Now, a young man will open a business today. After 2 months, he thinks he's already successful. You cannot be successful in business in 2 months unless you have stolen. Real businesses are built over time. There should be no one lying you that you can be wealthy within 2 months. Yes, you can bet and win 10 million shillings. But if you don't have knowledge on managing that 10 million to multiply it into something else, that 10 million will come back into 1,000. That's when you will begin planning. Now, there is what we call a billion mindset and a million mindset. Now, a million mindset can only think when they have 1 million. But a billion mindset thinks beyond 1 million. When you give them 1 million, they are able to translate it into 1 billion. A million mindset, if you give them 1 billion, they will waste it all until it is 1 million shillings. So what am I trying to say here? When you're beginning an entrepreneurship journey, you need to think big. Thinking big comes with a lot of responsibilities. That if you go to 1 million, your journey is to have $1 million enterprise. How does this 1 million help you move to 1 billion? billion shillings. Now, that is where sacrifice comes in, consistency comes in, resilience comes in, patience comes in, focus comes in, commitment comes in, hard work comes in, and all these things, 8 of them join together to make an acute businessman. If you don't have these things with you, it is going to be very hard for you to succeed in your business journey. I have seen many people say, I don't have capital. The question is, what you want to invest in, do you have its knowledge? Because it is from having its knowledge that you will know that maybe some of the things you need don't need money. Like a job. I have told people several times, why don't you look for volunteering opportunities? Because through volunteering, you learn, and then you have an opportunity that might come in as an internal recruitment plan. Many young people would want to get a job and they want a salary tomorrow. The Indians have taught us this lesson. When you see many Indians in Soroti today, many of those young people come to learn from their people who are already here. When those guys see them successful in their learning, then they give them a responsibility first to manage the business before they give them their own enterprise. They now give you an enterprise when they are convinced that you can now run a business. But for us here in Teso, people don't want to come and learn. They will even say, what do I learn from Okoit? Of course, you don't need to learn everything from me, but you can pick one lesson from me, pick another one from Nathan, pick another one from somebody, and put them together and become a very complete enterprising person. You see that? So for me, I would advise every young person to begin from the basic, and that basic is the mindset. It begins from your mind. Your mind should be prepared to start, because once you begin believing mentally, it is easy for you to translate. Now when you're thinking, cover your ears to negative energy. When you allow failure to cover your mindset, you will not start, because you'll always look at it as a big thing. Make everything small in your mind, and then later realize that it is big when you actually actualize that particular idea that you have. It begins with the mind. Think through, have all the knowledge about it, digest it, break it down into something that you can always use every day. Then from there, spread it down and see how to implement it one point at a time. By the time you realize, you'll be there. Like, I want to give an example. When Teso Textiles began, we began with one embroidery machine, which costed me 26 million shillings, money which I borrowed from a friend, 30 million shillings. I borrowed 30 million, and he asked me, what do you want to do? I gave him my business plan on how I want to multiply the 30 million. And he told me, fine, take the money, bring it back when you have achieved what you want. I went to Kampala, I bought that machine and 2 tailoring machines. I came and installed that machine in that building you're seeing. I sat there for 8 consecutive months, 8 without a customer. But I kept opening every day. When I got my first customer in November, we have never looked back. We have completely progressed. Now, from the 30 million, today we have 2 industrial embroidery machines. We have 2 industrial semi-automatic sweater machines. We have 15 tailoring machines. Now, all these ones were not there 3 years ago. But I been patient that we get the money, we miss lunch, we buy a machine. We get the money, we miss going out, we buy a machine. We do this. All our money is there. I can assure you. The other thing you must not forget is we are not debt free. I have debts from my friends, from organizations. I borrow this money, but I don't borrow them for fun. I borrow the money to buy unessential equipment that is missing in the workshop, because I know when the equipment is running, I may delay to pay my friend the money, which is not also good because it tarnishes your borrowing name. But it is something that I've decided to say, it is okay, but I will pay the money. You understand? I am committed to paying my debts, but of course I am also delaying because possibly the person I borrowed from is also in need of the same money. So at the end of the day, to Tomorrow when I pay off the debt, I become debt free, but I have the equipment. And the client already knows now that I have these things here.
Yes.
So for me, I would tell the person who is out there, do not be scared of borrowing money. But when you're borrowing money, borrow money when the plan is clear.
Yes.
But never borrow money to start a business. Borrow money to improve the business.
Yes.
First start it. Then when you start, when you see a need, an urgent need that you finish to see how beneficial it is to the business,
yes,
then now you can borrow to buy that particular thing or to invest in what you need at that particular time.
That means you're actually trying to say that most of the youth, the mistake that they have actually made is to borrow money to start up a business, and then later on the business fails. Rather, they should actually be borrowing money to top up on what they have after realizing that there is profit coming out of their business. That's according to what you have actually just said. So is that why most of the youth are actually failing in business?
Yeah, because now I have a bit of history on borrowing.
Yes.
I have gone to venture capitalists. These are people who give you money to scale up your business in exchange of either shares or equity. But I've also gone to the bank wanting to borrow a business loan. The question is consistent. Proof of business. Now for the bank, for them to prove that your business has been working, they check your bank statement. How often have you been banking? For the venture capitalist, he also wants to see your records. Audited accounts always. They want to see your audit and then of course your bank statement, whether it matches your audited accounts. Everybody who wants to borrow you money wants to see proof of business, and proof of business is somebody bought and you sold. So if you cannot prove buying and selling, don't borrow. So first prove that your business has customers, it is profitable. Then now you go and borrow to scale up. To scale up is why you should borrow. Don't borrow to start. That way it might not be easy. So first think of your idea, research about the idea, try it out. Once you've tried it out and it's successful, then now think of how to scale up. But also before you scale up, you need to have gotten what we call I call it this the local market. Like now for us as Teso Textiles, the reason as to why you see our marketing strategy growing slowly at a time is because we are not yet even sure whether the whole of Teso knows that we exist. So how do we get Teso to know that we exist? We start by making Soroti City know that we exist. So once we are sure that we have captured the market in Soroti City, then now we move to Soroti District, then to Teso, then from Teso to now other regions, Northern Uganda, Bukedis, Sebei. It is a journey. It might take us 5 years, take us 10 years, take us even 20 years. So it depends on how are we growing. But of course eventually it comes back to how big do you want to be. That is the most important thing for me. So I think that's what I have to say about growth and borrowing money.
I'll always keep on referring to Teso Textiles as we continue this interview. One of the major challenges that I've actually seen from the youth and from a number of people actually trying to explain why youth are actually failing in business is financial literacy. You realize a youth can have a business, sort of a business, but the challenge is how to manage the finance. A youth is jumping into spending a lot, more than even the profits that are coming in. At the end of the day, he actually fails. There are a lot of debts. You as a CEO of Teso Textiles, how were you able to manage when you're starting up financial literacy?
One thing I learned about personal success is that you can never be able to make an independent decision if you are a bandwagon attached person. If you manage to separate yourself from your friends and your peers, you are at a very clear line of success. Why we fail always to plan is because we allow everybody to advise us. But the truth is, the rightful consultation that you should have is with yourself. You have seen that I have all of you as my friends, but we rarely sit together. You will find me at Teso Textiles, whether I have work or I don't have work. I will leave the workshop between midnight and 2 o'clock in the morning. Even when I have nothing to do, I am in the workshop thinking. visualizing, planning on what do I need, how do I get it. You understand?
Yes.
So if you want to begin any successful journey in life, try to separate yourself from the rest of the world. Even if it's just for one day, whether it's just for 2 hours, have time to think alone, to plan alone, to meditate alone. You will not be disappointed. Now, when you have a lot of friends, of course, keeping friends comes at a cost. Today they have taken you out. Tomorrow they expect you to take them out. If you don't have anything, you end up pulling money from your pocket, which is business money. At the end of the day, you're spending within capital, profit, reinvestment, and any other thing, including money for raw materials from a customer.
Yes.
So what has always made us fail is bandwagon and peer pressure, peer influence. Because your friend is taking Guinness, you're also taking Guinness. You can buy Castle, this Eagle Dark of 1.5.
Yes.
The mission in the bar is to get drunk.
True.
Many young people go into a bar to compete with people who began business 20 years ago. You don't know what the man is spending. Maybe he's spending commission, profit, or a cut deal from somewhere. For you, you're spending capital, you're spending investment, you're spending everything within one point. You see that? So for me, I think the advantage that we have is we are still young. We have made these mistakes. Can we begin from now? Separate yourself from the rest of the world for a day or 2 or 3. Always in a week, give yourself a minute of time and try to think. And also try to control yourself. Don't allow people to be the ones telling you what to do. You are always the one to tell, let's link up. Let's link up. You are the one following them. When will they follow you?
Yes.
When will they follow you? Those are kind of teams that when you don't have, they're not there for you. So if you don't have, find peace. If you have, find peace. So that nobody influences your decision.
One of the things that government has actually tried to introduce different programs of actually financing the youth so that they can actually come up out of this vice called poverty. Different programs like MYOGA and the PDM. Recently, you actually saw some of the youth and of course some of the elderly were able to receive funds, about 1 million shillings. But if you go on ground to actually follow up, you realize a number of them have actually failed to actually come up with this. Why do you think there is a problem? Because even government is trying to support, but there is still a big challenge. Secondly, the other thing, most people have actually gone to actually borrow money from these financial years, but you realize coming back after maybe a week, not even a month, the money has disappeared and there has not been any value of the money that has been given. Where is the problem?
For me, let me start with the money that you borrow as a person from the financial institution. We get back to what I told you earlier on, from the mind. Failure to plan is planning to fail. Before you borrow this money, do you have an expenditure plan? What are you borrowing the money for? When you borrow it, are you going to follow what you borrowed it for? When I get back to government programs, MYOGA, youth livelihood, and so forth, for me, my challenge with these projects are the implementation framework. You have called the young people to receive 1 million shillings. You have not taught them how to plan this money. Some of them have never had an idea of how to spend the 1 million shillings. So for me, I was thinking government would start from training these young people on how to manage this money. Then when they get the money, they have what to use the money for. But now you just don't say, come and apply for the money. No financial literacy, no business planning and management knowledge, nothing is given to young people. You can't manage. Also, 1 million shillings for beginning a business. I was thinking that if we have 100 million per parish, why don't we go to that parish and assess the ability of that parish and guide that parish on a business model that parish can implement with 100 million. So that this 100 million now will be a parish investment. Number one, creating jobs and creating market within the parish. But now you're giving everybody 1 million. They have different ideas in the same village. They might not be able to implement it at once with 1 million shillings. But 100 million per parish, if it was a collective investment, it is a lot of money for that parish to fail to survive. Because in that parish, there are very many talents. If they employ all their knowledge in that business there, they will not fail to. They are accountants, they are managers, they are marketeers, they are laborers. Now, when they put all this energy together, complementary, they will shoot. But now here, everybody says it is my money, it is my idea. They will not succeed. They will not. Government must go back and redraw the framework of giving this money here. Like now for me, I was telling people that I wish government had brought me the 100 million. Because from the 30 million shillings, I've been able to create 20 jobs. If I had 100 million, maybe I would have created maybe another 200 jobs. So me, I'm thinking government can also have a project. Because now you imagine, you are giving somebody who has no proven business 1 million to start. But I am here with a proven business. You cannot give me 100 million shillings to drive my business. What are you trying to achieve? I have a proven business. It has created jobs. It is scalable. Give me 100 million to help me scale up without giving me conditions. You're telling this guy 1 million, pay it after 2 years. No proven business, no business plan, and then me, I am here. I have proven my concept. It is working. Give me 100 million with that 2 years grace period. I would have been able to plant a seed. How many businesses would have I created, really? So government has a very big task to identify businesses to support in communities. Wow. The initiative, Youth Livelihood, Emioga, PDM, very excellent ideas. But the question is, what is the target you're looking at? Because not all of us in the parish are business oriented. Some people by nature are supposed to be working for others, while others are created to drive change. That is why you see we have leaders in every community. Now give that leader, and then this other people will follow in something like that. Yes.
All right. From wherever you're following us from, it is such an interesting topic. And we are hosted at Softly Hotel in Soroti here. In this case, you're looking for the best accommodation, best meals, and of course a number of services from pool table, of course DSTV and the rest. They are actually located just next to Pioneer. Pioneer is one of the oldest schools around Soroti City. You can't actually get lost once you're around Soroti City. So today, we are simply discussing about the different opportunities that youth can actually tap into, and of course a mechanism of actually fighting poverty. My name is Nathan Oyagu. We left home to change home. Mr. George Okoit, talking about we are into a period whereby politics is almost getting more hot, and of course several times politicians have also been blamed, and of course have been seen as part of the root cause of poverty to the youth, whereby they have actually used the youth a number of times and they have left them gambling with life. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I have always talked to my fellow young people when it comes to the time of politics. You have not heard people say, oh, Koiti is a political what and so forth. Yeah, I tell them, I don't go to politics with a target. There is no way, I'm on a journey. If you get me engaged in a political camp, it means I have understood that the candidate I am supporting has what to give to the community. We have reduced ourselves to voting populists. If Okoit can talk too much, is the right leader. If he goes to a burial, is the right leader. But we forget that there are people who are committed to changing lives. They might not have the money, but they have the ideas, they have the commitment, they have been around with you. Scout out this kind of people and vote for them. As a young person, when you decide to join a political camp or a political journey, join that political path or journey with an intention either to achieve a dream or to push your dream to be seen. If you go into a political camp or a political journey with expectations of making money, you might be disappointed. Why? Because me who is contesting, I want people to vote for me. So I will promise you anything to get you to vote for me. Once I go through, the truth is it's not possible for me to deliver what you asked me, because you are so many who are asking almost for the same thing. So go into a political engagement with your own commitment to support the candidate, not to expect.
Yes.
If he or she gives you money, thank God for that. But if there is no money, then that means you are simply there to support their ideology, and that is what, for me, I think we should all be looking up to. Can we listen to all these people and get to understand why they have presented themselves before us? Then when we see that, okay, besides his money, he also has an idea, or without his money, he has an idea, then we vote people in line with what they can offer our community, not how much they can give you. Because a politician can give you 10 million shillings now, or 5 million shillings. But if you have no mindset still of managing that money, you will still again say the politician used you because you don't have a mind to manage what he gave you. Some politicians may not give you money, but they can create for you an opportunity. Like for me, identifying with a politician gives me a network. People will see me close to so and so, they can trust me with business because now I am close to so and so. I get business because of my network, something like that.
Government has actually introduced different skilling centers around different sub-regions. It's a move of actually providing skills and of course knowledge to the youth so that they are able to create their own jobs and of course fight poverty. Do you think that move by government will actually help to actually reduce the number of youths who are jobless and also fight poverty?
I think it needed to have been done about 20 years ago. 20 years ago would have put us very far.
Yes.
You see body wagons of cars, trailers and trucks.
Yes.
Kenyans began making those things before Ugandans began. It is of recent that now we have wagons made in Uganda.
Yes.
But Kenyans were making wagons before. Kenyans were modifying canters, fuzos into buses. Uganda began it recently because of lack of vocational training. Now that we have this vocational scheme by government, it is going to take us another 20 years for us to get to level 1 of Kenya. So it is going to take us about 50 years for us to realize an economical transformative kind of society. That's what I don't want to lie you. Now when you go to China, this technical education is taught to people in China from kindergarten. They grow knowing vocational training is there. In America, in all developed countries, Japan, Germany, any country with a good economy, they began the training when children were young, at home. They identify talent as early as possible. They identify interest as early as possible. That's why you see, when you look at the stories in America, they say that guy dropped out of school. It is a lie that they just dropped out of school. They began learning why they dropped out of school early. They began coding when they were 12 years, when they were 9 years. Then when they go to university, they see they know these things. So why should I continue being at school when I already have the knowledge? So they drop out, but they have the basics. You see that? Somebody today in Soroti is going to drop out of school when he has nothing and say, but even so and so dropped out. Who told you? They dropped out of school because they had the basic. They already had something they were doing before they dropped. So they said, let me just drop and continue with what I began earlier on with. You understand? So I saw the positive about those vocational training places in different places. There's one here in Arapai.
Yes.
I have a friend of mine who has been there, and I can assure you, when you see what this young girl can do, you just say, God, this is nice. Now, I want to give an example of Bangladesh. Recently, we saw them demonstrating in their country. But when you go and look at the GDP of that country, one of their biggest export is textile. Their second biggest export is textile. Most of the overalls we sell in Uganda, the best are made from Bangladesh. Tailored from Bangladesh. Tailored from China. But when I look at all these things, when you come to my workshop, I challenge my people there that can't we make this? Can't we make this? We try everything, and I have discovered that there is nothing China makes in clothes that we cannot make in Soroti in Teso Textiles. Nothing. We can make suits, we can make overalls, we can make gowns, we can make anything because the same tailoring machine, the same knowledge, the same tape measure. There is no unique thing that China does that Uganda cannot do. As long as we, the indigenous people, commit to learning, practice, patience, and work as a team, we can beat anything. It is possible. Yes. There is a country here, is it Italy or somewhere, where their highest economic earning product is coffee. But they don't even plant coffee, they import from other countries.
Yes.
As Uganda, what do we export? We export raw coffee, not processed. What is that government cannot invest in and be able to process this coffee? I am happy that recently government opened a plant somewhere in western Uganda that is doing research and making very different parts of cars, any components. Government has done an investment. There is another one in I think in Entebbe called the Uganda Research Institute. There is a company called JESA. Those guys still make their yogurt in that place. It's a government facility. Everything is there for free. You young man in Teso, what idea do you have that you need to build? Go to Uganda Research Institute. Go, they will give you free machinery, free space, free internet, free everything for you to begin your idea. Right now for me, I am developing Ateker's first tomato sauce. The first tomato sauce is coming from Nakatonya. Tomato sauce and tomato paste. It is coming. It is in Kampala for approvals. One day you're going to get in the supermarket called a nyanya tomato sauce with moringa, with chili, with a lot of things coming.
Yes.
Trust me, when you buy, I get the money. When I get the money, I get the profit. Where do I go and invest? I invest here in Teso.
Yes.
I am developing something else.
Yes.
Apart from the tomato sauce, we are working on a number of things. When they are ready, we shall bring them through. We have, as Teso Textiles, we have our own shirt made from Teso Textiles for secondary schools called the Look. We are very proud because our shirt, the first time we tried, we sold 500 shirts within 2 weeks.
Yes.
Now we are sourcing for more money to make 5,000 for next year. When we sell them, we make the money. The money comes where? To Teso, we build Teso. So young man in Teso, there is no better place for us to grow apart from us beginning from home here. I have of course seen people run to Saudi Arabia, to the Gulf, and also even if you went to the West, to Saudi Arabia, without a plan, you are wasting time in the West.
Yes.
You are wasting time in Saudi Arabia. Come back home and just sit and play cards. But if you are going to Saudi Arabia with a plan, you will not come back to Uganda and go back again. Go to Saudi Arabia with maybe a plan of being there for 5 years. Why are we in Saudi Arabia for 5 years? We are there to collect our capital and learn and create networks. When you come out of Saudi Arabia, you have a person you know. If I send him my tomato sauce, he will buy from Saudi Arabia and sell to the local market there. You cannot just be in Saudi Arabia and come back without a friend, even without the money, without a plan, without an idea. You're wasting time. Just stay home. So go to Saudi Arabia, go to Dubai, go to China, go to Japan, go wherever you go with a plan to come back and make home better. I like what you said. We left home to change home. So when you go wherever you go, but never forget to come back home, because it is here that we need you to make better, because this is where we are going to get you at the end of your journey in life.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, as we come to the final conclusion of this interview, what advice do you have to give to the youth outside there who are struggling to make it through the business world, and of course those who are still at school with hopes that after school they will actually come out to do something?
Yeah, for me, I think my best advice to any young people coming out of Teso is that our generation of Teso has a very big opportunity and a very big task ahead of us. It is dependent on us to use this opportunity either to sink Teso further or to lift it up beyond where it is now. Right now, we are known as the second poorest sub-regions in the whole of Uganda. That one is a fact known to all of us, and we also know. The question therefore is, do we want to continue being known as such, or we want to change the narrative and sail the future of Ateker to a better horizon? What must we do therefore? Number one, begin appreciating where you come from. Never look down at Teso. Teso has every opportunity. Right now, I think we are more than 3 million in Teso. That is enough capital base for any business to fail to succeed.
Yes.
Can we utilize this opportunity, therefore, as a young generation? One, can you desist from owning other tribes and begin owning your own? You get somebody saying, Eka Luga, Eka Moit. You understand? You don't want to support Teso businesses. All together,
yes.
Begin buying from Teso and sell to Teso. When you look at a Jew, an Indian, or a Moit, before they buy from a non-Jew or a non-Indian, they will first check whether an Indian has or doesn't have. If the Indian does not have, then they go to somebody else.
Yes.
So even you, if you are an Itesot who is doing business, give the customer you're looking to sell to the best. Be the best. Like for us in Teso Textiles, we do sweaters.
Yes.
But before we began making sweaters, we had to research. Why do we Teso go and buy sweaters in Kampala? Quality and then the speed of delivery. We came back and tried our quality and invest in the right equipment. Today we are able to deliver 600 sweaters in 10 days, and that is not bad for us. Customers are happy. So even you who is offering a service or a product, do your best to sell what is good.
Yes.
And then you who is buying, before you buy outside Teso, first check if Teso have. If they don't have, then go and buy from another person. So it is us to build us. We want to see Teso being driven to a bigger platform of competition, but we cannot do it if we don't begin from home. If you have money, before you invest in Kampala, you try to create that investment in Teso. Hey, come and train people here and establish yourself here. As long as your product is good, people will follow you from Kampala and come and buy in Soroti. I give an example. Why do you buy tomato sauce imported all the way from America, called the is it called the Haze or something? It is all the way from America, where South Africa, but you're buying. Why? Because they told you it is the best. So if the best can come out of Teso, even an American come and buy from Teso. We buy shirts made from China because they told us they are the best, all the way from China. So if the best came from Teso, even the Chinese would come and buy from Teso. We had meat packers. Americans used to come and buy meat from Arapai because we had the best cow in the whole world. So even you today, do the best to attract those people from wherever they are to come and buy from here. Imulalo have made their girls too beautiful that all men want to go and get a westerner because of nyash. Even as you build a nyash, people will come and buy from here. You understand? Today you get somebody living in Busoga to go and buy a bale of clothes in Lira, jumping Soroti, because Lira, those people now came together and they buy bales in large numbers at a small rate in China. So they sell at a price lower than yours in Soroti. What about you in Soroti? Come together, buy bigger bales at a cheaper price in China, sell at a moderate price. People from Lira will come and buy from here, Mbara will come and buy from here, Kenya will come and buy from here, because your price is not as expensive as the other people. So can we improve our services, our products, our way of doing business, and therefore people will come and buy from us? Can we create a better image for Ateker by loving Ateker and promoting Ateker and thinking beyond what we have now? I have seen people right now. Yesterday the president was in Soroti, right? People didn't have accommodation. Where are you who has the money to build a guest house in Soroti, to build a hotel in Soroti? Where are you? Our schools, we have Jeresa, we have Halshon. How many people leave Teso for schools in Buganda? Where are you to build the schools in Teso? When children leave Soroti for Buganda, they don't shop in Soroti, they shop in Kampala because they want to reduce luggage. So all the money goes for shopping in Kampala. Come and open business here. Let us start from here. We shall grow. That's what I think I have for our people.
All right, thank you so much for honoring this invite, and I really hope someone who is actually watching outside there has actually gotten some big message out of Mr. George Okoit, the CEO of Teso Textiles, one of the iconic businessmen that we look upon around Teso sub-region. So we shall actually bring you more of these kind of stories so that you'll actually be able to learn and of course realize where your mistake was, and of course get to change and put yourself in a different level. As he explained, trust honesty, and of research, networking, and a number of factors that you have to consider for you to actually be a successful person in business. My name is Nathan Eyagu. We left home to change home.
Sign out.